everyone, and welcome to today's session in the AI Meets Integration series, Integrating Data to Improve AI Outcomes. We have a really exciting conversation today between our Senior Director of Solutions Architecture, Rochelle Grubbs, and Brittany Schultz, one of our product marketing managers. And without further ado, let's dive right in. Hey, Rochelle. It's so wonderful to be speaking to you today. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Brittany? Thanks
I'm
for inviting
good.
me.
Yeah, I'm really excited to talk about just because I feel like AI is such an interesting topic and how it feeds into integration is really interesting. So I'm glad that we're sitting down and chatting today.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just jump right into it though. So
Okay.
with, AI being such a fun topic, such an interesting buzzword, I feel like everybody's talking about it now. What do you think are some common misconceptions that organizations have about AI ready data? Um, and like any examples that you can give of that existing in the real world?
Yeah, that's kind of we could probably spend the whole time chatting just about that. It's a
Yeah,
bit of a
right.
loaded question. So, I think a lot of times customers don't realize that their data really isn't AI ready.
Hmm.
And then untrusted data gives inaccurate results.
Sure.
So, if you think about old data, bad data, uh, trained on or models trained on old bad data, it's the old garbage in, garbage out kind of thing. So, you know, uh, I think I'm sure there's a lot of customers out there who have kind of gone down that path, done some training, then realize the models are given bad results, and then you go back and really start looking at that, realizing, well, shoot, all loads lead to data. So, like think about customers who've maybe had to change or update, maybe two companies merged or part numbers changed from
Yeah.
7 digits to 10 digits. And then they make a boo-boo when they're updating the part numbers. So guess what happens? Your model is trained on bad data.
Yeah. Well, and because it's AI, right, you don't necessarily, I mean, you should have a human in the loop checking, but like because it's
Right.
AI, it will amplify these issues and
Right.
amplify that bad data.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and I think that's what happens. Then customers realize you start out being maybe overly trusting because
Sure.
it's AI and it's gonna give you good results, right?
And it
But
sounds right. Like it
yeah,
sounds like it knows what it's talking about.
right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Um, so in what ways do you think automation or AI itself can help streamline data integration and data integration workflows?
Let's see. I think when you think about automation, there's a lot of things that you can do with automation to bring in data.
Hmm.
One of the things that's I don't want to say all the rage, but a lot, people are talking about is vibe coding. You
Yeah.
know, yeah, you think about vibe coding today, you can't have a conversation about AI with anyone who's in IT without talking about vibe coding.
Sure.
And and vibe coding is super cool. It allows you to do more with less. You can iterate faster. You can both learn a language and be super productive really fast.
Yeah.
But again, you have to kind of check the results. So
Mhm.
depending on the model that you're using for the vibe coding, you may end up down a rabbit hole faster than you know it. And
Yeah.
so I think that kind of ability to use models to automate and improve the velocity can really help. And then I one example kind of thing that comes to mind, I think is a popular use case is call center automation.
Sure.
Call,
That's a big one.
yeah, yeah, it's a huge one. Lots of call centers are trying to reduce the mundane calls by pushing those over to chat bots and AI bots and helping their customer service reps be more engaged and work on the things that are more interesting and harder and less mundane. But imagine, so that automation allows the customer service reps to have much more interesting, chewy problems to work on.
Right.
But imagine if the bot can't read all the documentation.
Right.
Yeah,
Or there's documentation that it can't even access, right? Because it's existing in other systems and things like
yeah,
that.
yeah. Yeah, so I think you think about AI streamlining, being able to streamline off, take a simple, what hours are you open? Well, an AI bot sure can take care of that question.
Yeah, right. So we kind of started talking about this a little bit, but I want to dive a little bit more into obstacles and challenges. So what do you think are the biggest obstacles that organizations face when they're trying to onboard AI, bring it into their products, and specifically like from an integration perspective, like just add that lens to it, you know?
Yeah, I think it's lack of integration. You start thinking about integration and data integration and different places where different where data comes from. That's often going to be different systems, and so many times those systems are siloed. So
Yeah.
when the systems are siloed, system A has one version, system B has some different information and maybe some overlapping, which would be a second version of maybe some similar data. Maybe both systems have address, but the address in the first system is not used anymore. So imagine the complexity there. So, I think organizations quickly realize how important governance is. You know, you've got
Yeah.
to you've got to integrate the data and bring it all together so you have all the data, but then you end up with maybe duplicate fields with different data. So governance is critical.
Yeah, I guess it really is more than just about getting the data where it needs to go. It's about, again, we talked about it earlier, like making sure that the data itself is AI ready and of quality to be used by
Right.
whatever kind of AI tools you're going to end up using. And I mean,
Hmm.
I think that's something that can either further amplify that, and something else that could be a challenge is just like legacy systems in general, because there are like that knowledge gap is shrinking. I think about mainframes or IBMI, things that still run like mission critical workloads that are still super
And
important.
they started out in these systems that required a ton of care and feeding, and now systems have changed, technology has changed, needs have changed, but some of those older systems, they're still in place decades later because they do what they need to do, and big organizations, especially in the financial world, rely on those systems because, like it or not, there's no very few substitutes.
Right. Or at least a substitute that is both cost effective and efficient, right?
Right. Yeah.
Because in
Yeah,
theory,
for
you can
sure.
move all your workloads over to the cloud, but in practice, that's a little bit hard. I mean, that's a whole other conversation that we're not
Right.
going to get into today.
But
um,
AI can help there.
oh,
I
yeah.
mean,
Can you
yeah,
tell me a little bit more
yeah.
about that?
Yeah, so AI can help there. There's a lot of work being done on that front where AI models are being trained to read code and
Mm,
then go through, just like AI models can be used for vibe coding to create code, AI models can be used to read code and then generate equivalent code or similar code or complementary code in a different language. And we have customers. We have a partner that is focusing in on exactly that. Their application reads older COBOL code and it generates new Java code and then does a compare. You run one, you run the other, look at the output, and iterate from there. Just like with vibe coding, you have to. It
yeah,
doesn't come up with the right answer the first time, so you keep
right.
iterating from there. And it can save months, years off projects where customers are looking to move workloads.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like that's something that sounds pretty exciting in that, customers and organizations are going to want to start doing ASAP. So, how
Yeah.
do you think that companies can avoid common pitfalls or those challenges that we talked about earlier, that can derail an AI project?
Yeah, I think they have to really, planning is key. There's no substitute for planning,
Yeah.
and really making sure that they eliminate a lot of their bad data. So,
Yeah.
start with the data. There's if you don't have a plan for the data, you don't have a plan for AI because the AI models, as we've discussed, are all trained on that data. So
Exactly.
uh, you got to start with the data, and then making sure that you deal with multiple systems, bringing that data in, integrating that data, deal with duplicate systems, and have some sort of governance and MDM strategy.
Yeah. And when you say MDM strategy, can you just like double click on that a little bit and tell me more about what you mean when you say that?
Yeah, sure. So think about, if we take the address example that I mentioned earlier, imagine that you have maybe you're an insurance company, and maybe you have multiple lines of insurance. Make it simple. Many of us have a home and a car,
Yeah.
and your home insurance has your address and the address of your home, but your car insurance, maybe you don't, for whatever reason, you don't want to use your home address as your mailing address. You have a
Hmm.
PO box. Maybe you don't get mail at home.
Yeah.
Who knows why? But now you've got one person with two addresses. And which address do you trust? And which address do you use? And which
Right.
address do you associate with other things, and why? So that MDM strategy helps determine within your organization which types of data and from which sources are considered trusted, or
Right.
the ones that you want to use. So,
Okay.
that.
Well, and I feel like that seems really important because like this technology is just going to continue to get more complex. There's going to be more of them coming out. Like I feel like we have a couple of names that we associate with AI right now, but like that is growing every
Yes,
single day.
yes.
So I feel like as if you're a data leader or if you're a frontline data user, like how can you ensure that your strategy is going to scale as like AI in this landscape just continues to evolve and become more complex?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I think this landscape, every technology, with every technology leap, technology leaders, technology users that are on the bleeding edge feel like things are going so fast, but then
Yeah.
you get to the next thing and it feels like it's going even, so it can be tough to keep up, but I think making sure that you're using the right solution, the right model, the right data for the right job.
Yeah.
So, if you just think about models themselves, different models are trained for different kinds of data, and you want to
Mhm.
use the right one for the right, kind of the right tool for the right task.
Well, and I think that, and again, just even choosing the right tool, making sure that you're partnering with the right company that's
Yeah,
gonna, right, try and work with you to build a strategy and not just sell you an AI tool because it's AI, right?
right. That's right. Yeah, and understand your business problem and the ends where you're trying to get to. So
Exactly.
you're right. It's not just about a pile of tools or a pile of software to use. It's about how do I use that to make the most, to be the most successful, and to solve the most problems and the problems that are critical within my organization.
Yeah. I went to a trade show once where they were talking about it in the context of like it's the tools, it's the people, it's the process, and then it's just like the culture around it. Making sure that
Yeah.
like your teams are ready, they understand what it means, they're going to go towards the right path. So we have one more question, and then I think that's going to be it for us today.
Okay.
But what industries, and I think you may have mentioned this, but what industries do you feel like are currently leading in the way that data integration can strengthen or be strengthened by AI insights? And what can other industries or other organizations learn from these, first users?
Yeah, I think if you think back, like there's probably use cases in every industry,
Sure.
but just at first blush, a couple of the things that come to mind, certainly software companies, the ability to provide better support, better customer service, and that kind of lends itself to not just software companies, but customer facing
Mm,
organizations. So you could think airlines, retail organizations, those types of
yeah.
customers that take uh, direct calls from their customers.
Yeah.
And then I think also insurance and the financial industry as well is
Yeah.
another
It's a
area
big one.
where, yeah, it's a big one. There's so much need for AI because there's so much complexity, so much regulation to protect both the company and the customers.
Sure.
And the requirement to comply with the regulation is critical, and the stakes are high if you mess up. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a real opportunity
Yeah.
for some good AI.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this has been fascinating. I've really been enjoying speaking with you today. Thank you so much to our speakers today for having this conversation around how AI and integration are coming together. If you like this series, you can join for our next one, Gen AI's impact on integration workflows. And if you're interested in continuing the conversation, you can hop over to precisely.com to see more demos, white papers, and case studies talking about integration and its relation to AI. And if you'd like to set up a personalized demo, please feel free to contact us at precisely.com/contact. Thank you so much and have a great rest of your day.